That ending though, chapter 130 of Attack on Titan. Eren, yo, I ain't gonna lie, drop me a like if you was just bugged the fuck out at what the hell was going on with that ending of Attack on Titan's latest chapter, with Eren looking like a freaking giant monstrosity of a monster. Like, yo, that form right there puts the size of the colossal titan to shame, because it was just a monster above monsters. And I'm like, yo, the fated war is here. The finale of Attack on Titan is really incoming right now, baby. We got a lot to talk about with Attack on Titan. We got chapters 128, 129, 130. These are the 3 chapters that I missed out on talking about recently. We got Annie being in the midst, her and Reiner getting the beats, trying to put in work. We got Armin going through some shit. We got just so much chaos going on in the Attack on Titan manga. Let's talk some of this absolute greatness. Like, yo, the more and more every chapter comes out, the more and more it really is starting to set in. Attack on Titan is about to end soon. I don't know how many more chapters, but it looks like it's really in the end game. And with season 4 on the horizon as being proclaimed the final season of the anime, it's only a matter of a few more chapters probably, and this will be the end of Attack on Titan. Let's get into it, people.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be though.
Okay, so I'd be lying if I said that I'm going to be breaking into every little political point that happened, especially in chapters 128 and 129 of Attack on Titan. But in general, it was like, there was a lot to digest. That was one of the reasons why I was like, I'm gonna wait till there's like a big chapter and kind of just talk about it all in one big lump sum, because there's a lot to digest. And it's like, holy cow, you know what I'm saying? Because chapter 128 was basically, once again, this little posse of Hanja's people, along with, you know, Mikasa, just everybody that has been working together up until this point, trying to make moves. And we see there's a lot of treachery, a lot of betrayal. We got the Azumabito, I can't remember exactly how to pronounce the name, but basically, you know, Mikasa's lineage, those people, they're at gunpoint at some given point. We got Flock, I think that's how you pronounce Flock. He's on some dirty ass shit as well. And that chapter, it was like, okay, it starts off pretty political, setting things up, and it got brutal, especially what happened to Annie and Reiner when they were trying to put in work, which was dope to finally see the female Titan again after all this time. Because we get a point where Armin and Connie are trying to pull a fast one, telling Flock like, yo, some shit is going down, but eventually, of course, they get found out that they're just trying to pull a fast one, and shit got brutal. Honestly, like, those chapters, it once again kind of starts diving into the human versus human, and I've said this before, but it definitely reminds me of like some Walking Dead situation. Because remember, for the longest time in Attack on Titan, of course, it was that the Titans were the main threat. Now where we're at right now, Titans, I mean, they've been abolished and destroyed from around Paradise Island. So now, I guess if you argue maybe the rumbling is like the big thing, but the rumbling is mainly under the control of Eren. So it's not like wild Titans. A lot of it is really just this political war between countries and a lot of just misunderstandings and hatred of one another. So it's not, again, a battle against the Titans per se. It's really a battle of survival and a battle of Eren's trying to free his people by any means necessary. And I ain't gonna lie, in that chapter when Armin got shot, I think he got like shot in the face and in the head and shit like that, I forgot for like a split second, maybe like 2 or 3 seconds, I'm like, what? I forgot that he was a Titan shifter, so I'm thinking to myself, no. He didn't survive getting cooked the fuck up to get shot in the head and be done with. But thankfully, of course, it was just, you know, now they can do crazy shit like that in the manga. Once somebody becomes a Titan shifter, they could get shot in the face, and it's like, they're gonna survive. And we get some insane panels of Annie and Reiner going into their Titan forms, fighting all the Jaegerists. And again, it's just a brutal chapter that was led up by politics and, again, positioning, so to speak. And the ending of the chapter is where I felt as though it was like some development and a very shocking moment for some of the characters, because you got to remember, still till this point, even now, one of the big things is like, none of these people want to kill humans. Like, they signed up in general in the very early stages of this story to kill Titans. That was, you know, they wanted to liberate people from Titans. The story has shifted. The problems in the story have shifted to a point where now you are forced to kill humans. So when Connie was forced to kill basically a comrade, so to speak, that was definitely a big moment for Connie. And we've seen a lot, like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few chapters Connie bites the big one, because we've seen a lot of his plot, you know, subplots surrounding him, like with his mother and now this. I wouldn't be surprised if he dies within the next few chapters. I'm not wanting it because at this point I don't know what the hell I want with the manga. It's so freaking insane at this point, but I could see it happening. Connie getting that self-realization similar to what John had, although John had like the biggest problem with, of course, killing people and shit like that. But that was a pretty big moment, and I think a developing moment, a final developing moment, because where else could you go with Connie's character at the end of 128? Then you cut into 129. You got Reiner and Annie. They're just absolutely destroyed. You see at one point Annie's arm gets blown the hell off, and again I have to go back to, remember when the Titans were actually like a really bad threat to the point where it was like hopeless, like how do you stop them, let alone the Titan shifters that are actually cognizant of what the hell they're doing. Like now it's like, yeah, they're putting in work. They got all sorts of arrows and missiles. You even got Reiner, which I thought that was kind of dope to see the camaraderie between them, because at the end of the day they did set out on that mission early on in the story together, and he goes and takes some arrows for Annie, and again you just see them, they're getting fucked up and obliterated, even though like they're Titan shifters. Like the tides have changed. Like it doesn't feel like anymore like, yeah, they're scary, yeah, they're very strong, and there's so many things that they can do that a human, of course, they're outnumbered. But with weapons now, especially the upgrades that weapons have had, Titan shifters aren't that like hopeless, or Titans in general. It's not a hopeless situation of trying to defeat them, because again you see in this chapter like they got fucked up, and that's the armor Titan, okay, and that's the female Titan that was swinging dudes around. And we get a moment with a character that I'm not really fond of, never been. Him and Gabby have always just been a thorn in my side as a reader of this manga. Falco, because if I'm not mistaken, he got the powers, what was it, the Jaw Titan? I think it was the Jaw Titan, because he sees Reiner and Annie, two of his fellow peers from his homeland, being absolutely decimated. I think they didn't even have their heads on their body at that particular point, and he decides to go Titan form, and is like, fam, you're so far away from being able to be really useful, but okay. Because we cut to Gabby, and again, like I just said, I don't care for Falco, don't care for Gabby. And Gabby has a cool moment. She shoots down one of the Jaegers, but at the end of the day, she's shooting down the ops. And it's hard for me as a reader, and I'm curious, I'm going to ask this question right now. How do you feel, or I guess I should say, who are you rooting for at this particular point? Are you rooting for Eren and his massive plan to save his people by any means necessary, along with the Jaegerists that believe in him and are following his ideologies, or you are rocking with Hanji and them, that they're like, no matter what, you cannot do that, and you know, all these people? Because like Gabby shooting down one of the Jaegerists is like, well, part of me, I really hate Gabby for what she did to, you know, killing Potato Girl. Like, it's still hard for me to even process that shit, okay? But on top of that, it's like, she's killing somebody that is going for what, you know, Eren feels like he's the good guy. And of course, villains, majority of the time, they always have the perspective of they're doing the right thing from their vision, from what they see, from what they're trying to accomplish. But I don't know, I see Gabby doing that, I'm like, I guess, cool, whatever, still don't like you, you little shit. And as the group start to get away on the ship, we see that Falco's stupid little ass cannot control himself apparently, and he starts like wrecking shit, and I think he attacks even the cart Titan, and I'm like, yeah, you little shit, you need some training. You shouldn't be out here on the battlefield right now. What are you doing? You think, oh, I got me a little bit of talent now, mate, I'm gonna fucking wreck it up, mosh it up, mate. Like, stop. Then we have the commander, I believe Magath was the one that cut out Falco from the Titan and stopped it, and it felt as though 129 hands down was the chapter of chapters for the two commanders, like Magath and, is it Shadis? I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Those two dudes, hands down. It reminds me of a moment, and I'm not gonna spoil it in case you ain't watch it, but, or read it, shall I say, from the Promised Neverland, the two commanders. Hands down, there's a moment in the Promised Neverland that this gave me those same exact type of vibes, with the agenda that was on their minds of what they were doing and what they ultimately accomplished, and at the same time the sacrifice they made of Shadis and Magath. Like, I was just like, yeah, this felt like an old war movie, because Shadis and Magath decide they're going to stay behind to stop the remaining Jaegerists from taking down the ship with their people, and they basically do like a suicide bomb mission to stop them. And it was really emotional going towards it, because it's like, yo, especially with Shadis, I don't really care too much about Magath, but Shadis from like early on being the teacher and all of this shit, like to see them go out like that, it was very honorable, it was sad, and I know that the anime is going to rock this out of the park, because it was that damn hype and that damn, honestly, like, it wasn't the biggest and most major deaths of all, but those were still, especially against Shadis, I don't care care too much about Magus. Seeing him go out like that, he went out like a hero to save his people in the end, and yeah, it was emotional, but at the same time, you gotta look like, and I like that in 128 and 129, they really dove into the problems of like, yo, they're two sides of the same coin. Like, they both just look at each other like we were just innocently minding our business and y'all attacked us, and vice versa. So to see them actually join hands in the end and do one final mission together, working with each other, Magus and Shadis, that was dope. And again, some hero shit. RIP to both of them, especially Shadis. Like, damn, man, endgame shit. Then we open up chapter 130 with Annie looking in horror, finding out what they did and what they were trying to accomplish, and them sacrificing themselves, and her relationship with Magus, especially. Like, yeah, that was dope. And I mean, at the end of the day, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, Annie, I really wish she would have returned sooner, because like, even moments like this is dope, but like, her impact would have been so much more grander and just in general more important if she returned before. Like, now, like, again, like I said earlier in the video, Titan shifters just aren't that important to the story. I mean, they're still like, they're like a great warrior, but they're not like the end all be all anymore. So yeah, any moment I guess you can get with Annie is dope, but it still makes me, every time I see Annie, like, oh, what could have been if she returned sooner. Basically, she says she doesn't want to fight anymore because saving her home is impossible. With the rumbling, it's going straight through where her hometown is and whatnot, and just in general losing her commander and shit. Like, she's starting to lose all hope, and kind of makes sense with her character. Like, she slept away in that crystallized form all throughout all this time of things changing and the revolution and shit like that. Who knows what would have happened. But then again, if she would have woke up sooner, she wouldn't be in the position of like us cheering for her or rooting for her, or even us looking at her like any type of good person, because again, she would have just went back and fought for Marley. And one of the things she says about like, why am I going to fight anymore, she says, if I try to kill Eren, you're gonna stand in my way. And she even at one given point says like, keeping it real, who the hell here wants to really kill Eren? Who's gonna actually even try? Let's be honest here, none of us want to do it. It's between a rock and a hard place, which again, it makes sense. Like, there's so much inner turmoil in Attack on Titan right now that I don't really know. Like, personally, I'm more so rooting for Eren. I'm just gonna keep it 100. Like, I'm more so root for Eren, but I also see the flaws in what he's trying to do. It's like, you're trying to commit mass genocide to save a group of people on an island. Like, that's wrong too. But I guess growing with Eren and seeing like he's not necessarily like, his heart is 100% in the right place. He's just doing it by any means, and he's become like a Sosuke Aizen from Bleach all the way. Then we get to the Eren flashback that leads us into the final battle, which I didn't feel like it was that necessary, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, I guess at the time to once again remind us of a lot of things that have occurred, and it also gave us some big insight to stuff that, whoa, Papa Jaeger, Papa Eren. Because I mean, we get the revelation that Flock wasn't really lying when he said, no, Eren told me everything, because we see that Eren told him like, yo, I'm going to pretend that I'm rocking with Zeke, and I want you to pretend too, but I'm really not with that whole euthanization plan that they have or whatnot. So Flock wasn't lying, I guess, even though he's still a piece of shit in my book. And basically, Eren was on a tirade talking about he's going to destroy the world, anybody that opposes his people. Like, if nothing else, you got to give him credit for like, this man is willing to do anything and everything for his people. He loves his people. And I think one of the most important moments throughout all of that flashback that we got with Eren was the stuff with Historia, for starters, of her like really not agreeing with what he was trying to, you know, pitch to her, so to speak, and seeing again how dark Eren has gotten. Like, this is not the same dude from the beginning of the series by far. Yeah, in the beginning of the series he said he's gonna kill them all of that jazz, but in terms of like, he's so manipulative now that he tells her, if you can't live with it, don't worry, I'll alter your memories, I don't give a fuck. Like, fam, yo, you're taking it a little too extreme here, buddy, even to Historia. But I mean, I guess that's already went out the window. Like, again, he's committing global genocide to save his people. I also appreciated the convo that he had with Zeke, because I ain't gonna lie, one of the big things from early on in the series, and I always appreciated the relationship, was the Mikasa ex Eren, and you know, seeing how much she was a ride or die for him, so to speak. And when Eren started pitching this whole bullshit of like, oh, it's just because she's an Ackerman, and Ackerman, they have like this weird mental, like, you know, they're mental for people that they care about and they listen to them, it's not real. And when Zeke is like, yo, that's bullshit, like, grow some nuts, she likes you. I was just like, alrighty then, there you go, Eren, a story about the birds and the bees and puberty from your big bro, hey. And I appreciated that though, because I mean, in a way, it's even more to showcase like Eren is a dirtbag and a half, because he knew 100% without a doubt that Mikasa just likes him. It's not nothing that her genes or anything. Fam, she just really is in love with you. She's willing to kill and do anything and everything to save you. She loves you. So when you think back to, wait a minute, so with him knowing that, and he still did all that fucked up shit, the scarf, talking down to her, saying like, you're just mental, you don't really fuck with me, it's just like you're a weirdo and shit. Like, Eren, it's so hard, and the only thing is that I know how noble your goal is and why you're doing what you're doing, but you were a scumbag, fam. You really, really did Mikasa dirty, especially knowing what Zeke told you. It's hard to rock with that, fam, I ain't gonna lie. And here's probably one of the most important parts of that flashback, when Eren is talking about that he only got 4 more years left, and he's like, well, how about I bear a child, you know what I'm saying, leave them to live, even though whatever life is going to be around. And I think he was speaking to Historia. So there's people that are debunking that and saying no, that Historia's pregnancy is not due to Eren, it's due to the farm boy that treated her like shit. I'm really hoping that that's not the case at all. I'm hoping that it's actually Eren, and I'm hoping that that was the big green light, that it is Eren's child, even though that would destroy Mikasa. That would destroy and annihilate her, that Eren had a kid with somebody else. But who knows, depending on how things go, if Eren dies and maybe Historia dies as well, maybe Mikasa will end up raising Eren and Historia's kid, and that'll be her gift. Like, she didn't get to have her Eren that she loved and adored so much and would have done anything for, but at least she gets to raise his child and have some remnants of the person that she loved. Even getting that dark shit again, like all about Eren. Here's 10,000 reasons why Eren is crazy, of him mutilating himself, stuffing the bullet in his eye and sawing off his leg and shit like that. Like, oh my gosh, what a man will do when he's really, really freaking motivated and dead set on some shit. Wow. And we cut to the big enchilada of it all. You got these giant fucking rumbling titans swimming and shit. Like, swimming titans, fam. 2020. It can't get any weirder, you know? Because we got the rumbling marching towards Marley. The final battle is approaching. We see all of these giant titans, and I'm hoping we get like a little more of an insight into all of these, because at the end of the day, if these are all titan shifters and they're not just wild titans, because remember, I think they were all titan shifters that they hardened the neck and created the walls that surrounded Paradise Island. I'm curious if we're going to see who's inside of them, or if they've been so long that they don't even really exist anymore. And it also makes me wonder if they are titan shifters to a certain extent. Maybe they're again just mindless at this point or something like that. Like, if you're in the form of a titan, you could basically live forever. So essentially there is possibly a cure to that 12 or 13 year window that you have to live, if these guys are still alive, right? And even you go back to, what's her name, Ymir was alive for a long time. So there's some secret in there in living past that point. Or maybe again, if they're not really titan shifters and they're just like, whatever the case may be, I'm not sure exactly how you describe them, they're just normal titans, whatnot, then maybe it's once you become a shifter, then that's when the clock starts on your life. And we get the huge revelation of Eren's new form, the attack titan or whatever. That's not the new form name, of course, but seeing him with that giant head and that skeleton looking body, looking like he completely fused essentially with the founding titan and all that shit, like, that was, first of all, art. Mwah. Second of all, like, my gosh, yo, I don't see how Marley or anybody really can defeat them at this particular point. I think they're gonna have to prey off of Eren's emotions. I think they're gonna have to really prey off Eren's emotions of like threatening to kill somebody that he really cares about, which is why he tried to separate himself from the people he cares about, because otherwise, yo, he has a gigantic army of titan, you know, just madness, the rumbling, him in that giant form. Like, I have no idea how anybody can form a counterattack against what Eren has right now, and his plans is just, I'm gonna destroy the world. Yeah, I'm not doing this to my people no more. So it is so, like, the setup for this one is absolutely so grandiose, so that it's hard to describe. And then the final text saying, since that day, he's kept moving forward without stopping. And, you know, endgame approaches. Honestly, the latest chapter of Attack on Titan, yet again, grand slam. 128, 129, dope chapters. 130, boom. So for starters, let's start asking the questions. I want to know you guys' input. I'm very, very excited to see what you guys have to say. Is that Eren's baby? Is Historia's baby Eren, or it's really just the farm guy that was just like a little subtle nod, or maybe somebody else he got pregnant? Who the hell knows? What do you think is going to go down with Annie and them? How do you even stop such a monstrosity of a force like the rumbling, along with Eren's new Titan form? Who do you think is going to die in all of this? And just so many freaking questions. Honestly, where do you think this is all going? I feel like Attack on Titan is one of the most unpredictable manga, especially out right now. Like, I just don't really know where everything is going. I don't even know who the fuck should I really root for. Like, a big part of me, like I said, I'm rooting for Eren, but then at the same time, it's so fucked up what he's doing. But then at the same time, it's like, you got Gabby on the other side. Am I gonna root for Gabby? Hell no. And your overall thoughts and expectations for Attack on Titan's manga with chapter 131 and beyond. Man, when this manga ends, it's gonna leave a hole in me, because this is so great. Like, the writing is so great, the art is amazing, like everything about it. Like, Attack on Titan is so great. I ain't gonna lie, it is absolute greatness. But that's all I have for this one, folks. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, now why am I talking like that? Drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links as always in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in.
It's nights like this, and times like this, that I can give another hit. But I've got this inside a switch, a natural bliss, but that I